to start in Lightburn, we're going to click the rectangle tool. We're just going to drag basic rectangle out. We're going to set the width to 300 millimeters and the height to 200 millimeters. Now we're going to click the cursor icon. We're going to drag it over here in the corner, leaving a decent amount of spacing. The exact spacing doesn't really matter because we'll tell the laser to frame this shape, and it'll allow us to align it perfectly. Now that we have this created, we're going to go over here to Cuts Layers. If you want to name a layer, you double click it and you come here and you can name it. My default layers are set up with 00 as outline, and I'll just leave it as that. Additionally, for outline, I have the power max set to 1% and the speed set to 3,500 millimeters per minute. But for mine, I have a basic 30 watt input. 1% is enough to just make it light up. So all we'll do with this outline is you have the laser trace it, and it'll be used only for alignment purposes. So, continuing, we're going to go to the text tool. We're just going to click. We're going to type in the name. We're going to select the cursor tool. We're going to drag the name over here in the corner. We're going to change the font here at the top. Change it to Lobster. I just really like that font. We're going to scale it up a little. About right there. Now we're going to grab our graphic. I have a lobster graphic I got off of Etsy for a couple bucks. I'm going to rotate it. Place it. We're going to lock the aspect ratio. We're going to scale it down just where it fits in. The lobster graphic here is on the wrong layer. It's on the Maker's Mark layer. I'm going to put it on layer number 1, and that's labeled under graphic. Again, if you wanted to change the label, double click, under name, type it in. Now, for this layer, max power is 100%, minimum power is 100%. With diode lasers, you don't want to use the PWM to actually change the percentage of the laser, especially on slate, because slate either engraves or doesn't engrave. It doesn't have a huge grayscale range. We're just going to dither it. We're going to set our speed to 4,000 millimeters per minute. That's the maximum speed for my laser. If your laser can go quite a bit faster and is less powerful, you may want to dial that back a little. We're going to go ahead and turn off output just for safety reasons. Just in case you accidentally click start, it doesn't actually start burning anything with us not knowing it. We're going to change that layer to number 2. That layer's under text. Again, if you want to change it, it's right there. Text, we're going to change the speed to 4,000 millimeters per minute, leave it at 100%, max and min. I have air turned off for all of these on my laser because it doesn't have any air. If it did and you wanted air assist, you could turn those on. Now, something to double check on the text. You want to go in here, make sure constant power mode is checked, and you want to make sure mode is set to fill. More than likely, by default, it'll be set to line. You want to make sure it's set to fill. On the graphic layer, we're going to double click. We're going to go in here and change it from 125 dpi to about 325 dpi. I don't recall the exact maximum resolution of my laser, but 325 dpi will set it there. And we can preview how this will look if we turn our layers to output and click the preview button here. We can see how the text looks, and it looks very fine. So you can see a problem here when we click preview. One or more shapes are crossing the edge of the machine workspace, and that's because of this right here. Even though it's not actually doing that, we will have to change it. So, we're going to zoom out, click and drag. Everything's selected. We're just going to drag it until those blue lines are within the machine workspace. And it's a fairly large workspace for my laser, so it doesn't cause any real problems. I can just move over the piece of stone. Now we're going to go back to preview. Okay, so one problem I just encountered is that if we go to preview, even though the graphic layer is set to output, if we go to preview, nothing will show up. We're going to click OK. We're going to click our lobster graphic. We're going to right click, adjust image, and right here negative image is selected. If we deselect that, click OK, go back to preview, the lobster is there. And it likes to invert here. Uncheck that, and we have our lobster graphic. We can actually see the resolution at which it'll engrave the graphic, which is incredibly high. My laser is capable, yours may or may not be. One thing I do recommend is, especially if you're making slate coasters, now working with slate charcuterie boards, is use some of your old scrapped coasters and just crop out a tiny section of this, about like so. Keep it scaled properly and have it engraved on a coaster just to see what exactly you're looking at, in terms of resolution, engraved time, stuff like that. It can be extremely helpful, especially for more photo-like images rather than graphics that will require dithering. Since this is just a straight black and white graphic, it doesn't require any dithering. If we were to dither it, then I highly recommend the Jarvis dithering. It gives a nice, especially for photos, it ends up with a really nice end result. But that's a different video. Now that we have all this made in Lightburn, when you get an order from a customer, all you have to do is select the text tool, select here, and type in the name like that, and then boom, you're done. You just select both of these to output and click start. Now there will be another video detailing how I line the workpiece on the laser, which is not a great way to do it, honestly, but it is a cheap way to do it and quick way to do it, along with that focusing, which is again is not the best way to do it, but it is a very quick and precise way of doing it. For this product, you can do it all in Lightburn. Some of my coaster designs do require it to be done in Photoshop, similar to what was seen in my video detailing how I make listing photos for my products.